So I just got dinghied into the beach here. Beautiful beach. Look at this. I'm paddling in the water. It's lovely. .360 view. We had a very pleasant cruisers beach party that evening, but come sunset we were all on our way back to our boats because it was time to get back before dark. Next morning, come dawn at 5:30 or so, I was up ready to get going round to Taiohae Bay. Leaving Anaho Bay just after 6 in the morning on Tuesday to go and clear in. 8 o'clock in the morning, and we were up at 5:30 this morning to get going by sunrise at 6. And it's a pretty rocky ride at the moment. We've had to be head into the wind motoring to get round the northeast side of a corner of the island. But now I'm hoping we might be able to get the sail up. We're just about coming off the wind a little bit now that we've turned around. So I think we might be able to get the sail up. Should be very good. Pretty hazy, but still pretty dramatic. This is so much better. We've managed to get the engine off and change course a little bit more around towards the southeast of the island. So we're close hauled and we can actually sail. It was such a relief to get rid of the motor and be able to sail with the wind, because we'd been really bashing into the wind and the waves up to that point, and it had been a really horrible ride. The scenery down the east part of the island was pretty dramatic, amazing, very weird peaks and bits sticking up, very volcanic. And coming round to the southeast corner of the island was also sheer cliffs, sheer rock faces plunging down into the water. It was just pretty impressive. Rounding the southeast cape on Nuku Hiva. The wind got pretty difficult from that point on, so instead of the rather pleasant sail that I thought we were going to have, I ended up furling in the Genoa, in fact. But then I suddenly realised that the white waves, you can see a little spot of white waves there on slightly to the left of the centre of the picture, and to my horror I suddenly realised I'd been heading straight for it, and I suddenly realised that this was a sharp peak of some kind coming up out of the water 2 or 3 feet, which is what the waves were breaking on, and clearly a marvellous dive spot, but not something that you want to get too close to in a yacht. So luckily I realised in time. Taiohae Bay, where I need to clear in now. It's been a holiday weekend, so I had to wait till Tuesday for the offices to be open, and very hazy, but we are actually heading towards the entrance to the bay just ahead. So we're trying to get in for 11, hoping to get to the gendarmerie soon after in order to clear in. So we're looking towards the entrance to Taiohae Bay, where I have to go into, turn off to starboard. And the wind's almost died down. It's all over the place, in fact. I furled in the Genoa, and the main I've got it sheeted out on the venter, but it's really not doing a lot. And we're just motoring to get in before the gendarmerie closes for the morning. keep that big lump of rock off to starboard and go around the far side of it, turn to starboard once they're past it, and that's the entrance into the bay. Have to keep a little bit out because it gets a bit shallow just there. Pretty rolly. We've got quite a big southeast swell again. Just seeing almost vertical strike coming from that hilltop there. Almost looks like water, but I don't think it is. And there we have the entrance to the bay opening up. Clearly a very easy entrance, very wide, into a big bay, easy to approach at night as well as in daylight, in fact. Entering the bay, Taiohae Bay, and there's the little town. Only town really on Nuku Hiva. So now we have to down the sail, the main sail, and anchor somewhere over slightly to starboard. It's the best because that's nearer to where the gendarmerie is. We have the view astern off to the other side of the bay entrance. Just waiting now for the right time, get a little bit closer, round up, drop the mainsail, and then we can let the anchor go. Unfortunately, it turned out that I just missed being able to clear in that morning. The official was pretty prompt off on the way. And so in fact I had to get up really early on the Wednesday morning, the next morning, to make it in good time. So here we are, just before dawn. Very calm in the anchorage here, just before dawn. It's light, but the sun isn't up yet. Very, very peaceful. With sunrise around 6 o'clock in the morning, I was clearly not going to have a problem getting to the gendarmerie by 7:30. And that in fact went well, went very well. The woman official was extremely friendly and helpful. So a very kind boater friend came by and offered to pick up a baguette for me, freshly baked baguette here in Nuku Hiva, which is fantastic. Normally I have to admit I'm keto and I haven't had a baguette for a long time, but I'm going to enjoy this with my coffee that's just come through as I'm busy in the galley here sorting things out. And then my other job today, I was going to mend the little lead that my furling line that broke off my furling line, so I'm going to do that and then get on with trying to get my dinghy and outboard working so I can get on shore without having to ask other people for a ride in. Anyway, thanks very much to Rob on Cambria for getting me this. I also had another offer of getting into shore by another boater friend, so I'm really being well looked after by friends here. But this Genoa furling line lead was completely demolished. It lost one screw. Well, in fact, the screw came out, although I did retrieve it. And you can see that this one is not just bent, but it's also completely torn away the fixing, completely damaged. So totally unusable. Fortunately, I have a replacement. So that's what I'm busy doing now. I've found another machine screw to replace this one, which is clearly unusable. And then of course I had to find a nut and a spring washer to go with it. And I'm just sorting that out, just finished sorting that out now. Take this off the line, take the line off it rather, so I can put a new one in place and rerun the line. It's going to be a bit fiddly attaching this to the stanchion, to the base of the stanchion where it came away in the first place. It's always a bit of a worry fixing things straight over the water like that. A cruiser friend who I'd got to know in La Cruz in Mexico had offered to come and help me get the dinghy inflated and the outboard on it, which was very, very kind of him. And so we had a problem though, because it just would not hold the air initially. So he went away and made a valve extractor, because I had spare valves. And so finally, the next day, he took out the old valves and put in the new ones, and after that the dinghy inflated fine. Fantastic, one dinghy floating, actually got it inflated, amazing. Of course the next step was to get the outboard down onto the dinghy, but with a handy billy off the stern of the boat makes it easy to lift and lower the outboard, even though it's quite heavy, so that went well. And of course the next question was, would the motor start? And there was a little bit of a problem, but that was eventually sorted out and everything's fine. Yeah, you got to have the air vent open.
That would help it flow down, probably.
Mm-hmm. So between the air vent and opening up the fuel tap so that the fuel could run into the engine, and a few other little minor details, everything eventually went fine. You have motor working. Okay, the dinghy all pumped up, engine being run, and Shane reckons it just needs a bit of driving around. So hopefully it'll keep me going for a bit. Have a look and see just how dirty the boat was after I got back. Well, I say got back, after I got in here. And yeah, there's a bit of gooseneck barnacles under there, quite clearly. There was cleaning needed. I have to get in and have a swim. Of course, being able to sit in the dinghy at water level, I could have a really good look around. Makes it very much easier. You see how dirty it is where the engine had been running for a bit. Look at that. Pretty dirty. As you can see, the Taiohae Bay is pretty big and has got lots of space for plenty of boats, as well as the provisions you can get from the town nearby. Although calling it a town is generous, it's really a big village.